Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chuckie, joined as always by my hetero life partner, the boy.
Hey.
Today is June 2nd, 2014, and this is the Two Nerds Podcast. Before we get started, I just need to remind you all to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. It helps us do what we do. I also need to thank Super Blizzard for the use of his Shining Masato song, Let's Get Hardcore, our show's theme. If you like wrestling music or just good music in general, you should visit his Bandcamp page. The link is in the description, and he will like us more if you buy all his music in our name.
Also, his music's really good. So.
Yes, it is. So Payback.
Oh my. Look, I'm gonna be straight with you, listener. I don't know if we have an hour's worth of material on this show. It was okay. Like, it wasn't bad.
It had bad parts.
Yeah, it had bad parts, like any Raw.
Yeah.
But
I have to do this song again, dance again tomorrow night. Huzzah!
yeah. But I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to become the wrestling fan who hates wrestling.
I'm going to be that guy.
I will focus on the good parts of this show, because there were several really good parts of this show. And there were also several bad parts, and mostly mediocre ones, but there were good parts.
Let's start at the top with the pre-show.
Do we have to?
Yeah. You know, I wouldn't say I was psyched for this pay-per-view. Honestly, quite the opposite. Two matches on this show were so painfully, storyline closers. Predictable conclusions. You knew what was going to happen after Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I mean, I've been calling this one for weeks. It's just, and I wasn't wrong about any match.
There was one match that surprised me.
I know what match you're talking about.
Not enough to be like, oh wow, I'm curious to see what happens from here.
More like, huh.
Yeah, oh.
Okay.
Fine. Match number one on the pre-show was El Torito versus Hornswoggle in a Luchas de Apuestas match. And the fact that the WWE had a Minis Luchas de Apuestas match was not enough to make this worth watching.
Because, as much as the actual talent in the match was putting on a decent show, El Torito and Hornswoggle knew what they were there to do. They're there to get the kids excited. They're there to be silly and have fun. 3MB, by God, they were trying hard. And Primo and Epico, they're bored. But they're not untalented, so they didn't stink up the place.
Right. And, honestly, as many minis matches as I've seen, as many Lucha Libre matches as I've seen, this was pretty by the book for a fun opener. It wasn't as technically sound, but Hornswoggle's not a very technically good wrestler.
He's an entertaining wrestler, and he's getting better, have you noticed?
Yeah, he's definitely moving up in the world, and he sells really well, and I like his faces, but there were just too many spots in this match where I found myself asking, why?
Why are we here? Why is this happening?
Like, after Hornswoggle got spun around, yeah, El Torito spun him around on his shoulders. They were both dizzy for a while.
No. They were both dizzy for way too long of a while.
That's exactly what I was about to say. And there were a couple funny spots in that, but
it just wouldn't end.
I never had a problem with the FBI.
No.
I've never had a problem with the ECW Dudleys.
For a long time, I had no problems with Santino. This isn't about silly wrestling.
Yeah, silly wrestling, it has its place, definitely, and this was a great place to showcase that. But there's a difference between a silly match and a stupid match, and this one crossed over the line into stupid too many times.
Do you know what the difference is? A silly match knows what it is. A stupid match overstays its welcome.
Yeah, it's like the difference between telling a dumb joke and then ribbing the guy next to you going, get it, for like an hour afterward.
Look, we understand it was a silly joke. We understand it wasn't meant to be the height of wit. but by God, let it die.
Yeah.
This match was fucking interminable. It was... And I liked their last match. Go back. Listen to the last podcast.
Yeah, Extreme Rules, I liked that match. And it was still goofy. There were tiny ladders.
There was a tiny table, and there was a tiny ladder, and a bigger tiny ladder. And it was... The commentators were just as insufferable.
Honestly, that's kind of the theme of this pay-per-view. Like, this is the shittier Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they did all of the Extreme Rules matches again, but shitty this time. And then they added in some new matches, which weren't bad.
Yeah, I mean, Torito won, so
obviously
Hornswoggle had to shave his head, which I don't want to take anything away from Torito. I think he's an awesome wrestler.
He's talented.
Yeah.
And Hornswoggle was trying hard. It's not the talent's fault this match was bad.
It was, the jokes. The writing was not good. There were a couple of spots that were off.
But it wasn't the minis who were responsible.
No, it was like when Drew McIntyre decided to fly out of the ring for no discernible reason.
He wanted to fly. He never gets to do anything.
Yeah. But that was our opener. That was the pre-show.
So hyped.
Yeah. I believe my exact words were, "Let's get this train wreck a moving."
Yeah.
Then we went to Cesaro versus Sheamus for the United States Championship.
Now, before the match even started, something which was, in large part, about as entertaining as the match happened, and the Walrus came out.
Yeah, that was good.
And the CM Punk chant started, as it always does when Paul Heyman's visible.
Well, and they're in Chicago.
Invisible. Or there's a quiet moment.
Yeah.
Look, people, he's not going to show up. Give it up.
Honestly, my favorite part of the show was like every time it got too quiet or the match was too boring, they kept chanting "Let's go Blackhawks."
Yeah, it wasn't even, it was "Let's go Hawks."
Yeah,
let's go
Hawks.
Blackhawks. Both chants got much evidence whenever the fans were bored. But CM Punk's chant started up, and Paul gave the second best CM Punk burn of the night. We'll get to the first one, but the second best CM Punk burn of the night. What was it he said? No, he's not here. He's over at the other arena watching the Blackhawks get beat by the LA Kings.
Yeah, that was some good heat. Didn't stop him from loving Cesaro, though.
No, they were pretty... The crowd was pretty firmly on Cesaro's side the whole match.
And, this match wasn't bad.
No, it was actually good. It was really... It was a solid Raw match.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good spots. There was a lot of movement. It was long. It had time to work like a pay-per-view match should.
Sheamus stepped up his game a little bit to kind of get on Cesaro's level, and I do have to applaud him for that. The backflip up the turnbuckle that he did was pretty tight.
And it was, you're right. Sheamus came to play.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing like the 4 moves he typically does. It was a wrestling match, and it was a good one.
Yeah, there were cool counters and stuff.
It even had kind of a surprising finish. I wasn't super expecting Cesaro to go over clean, but I didn't expect him to lose.
On a roll-up, no less.
Yeah, on a roll-up.
Which
says that this is going to next pay-per-view.
Yeah, and it probably deserves to. This is the thing I think is funny. We spent all that time building up Cesaro, and we're floundering him with the U.S. title.
Well, what else is he going to do? Bad News Barrett has the IC title, and the fans already adore him. And he's already got people to fight. And the WWE World Heavyweight Championship took both of the main event slots. And he's not a tag team wrestler. So the U.S. title is pretty much all that's left.
Yeah.
Aside from a non-title main event feud, Cesaro has nothing else to do.
Well, he probably could get a decent non-title main event feud going.
Against who?
Well, he's moved on from Jack Swagger, thankfully.
Yeah, that needed to end.
Yeah, just that was holding him back. Sheamus is a good guy. It just seems like we built him up enough. Let's go to the next level. Let's find his real feud, and maybe we'll see that.
Yeah, maybe another month of Sheamus and Cesaro will give us some heat that we were missing this time. Because it was good back and forth, tit for tat stuff going into this pay-per-view. That was a decent build. The rest of this pay-per-view seems to be sucking the life out of this match for me, because I know what's coming.
Well, it wasn't... Look, I want to give Sheamus his due, and...
Cesaro, of course, was on point. He always is.
He always is. But it was an okay match. Like you said, it was a pretty good Raw match.
But it had time to work.
Yeah,
it didn't have promos.
It wasn't rushed.
And Seg 3 to compete with. So
no, it wasn't. We'll see you after the commercial break kind of thing. Here's what you missed, unless you have the WWE app. No, we got to see it all. It was a fine match, but it wasn't. I wouldn't call it pay-per-view quality.
To hearken into to terminology that's been floating around the WWE a lot, it was a solid B+.
Yeah. So Sheamus retains his title on a roll-up. That was pretty surprising, especially after the big swing, which I thought was kind of weird. I mean, it basically no-sells the big swing.
Well, I mean, can you... I love the move. It's funny.
Oh, it's stupid.
You can't sell it too much.
Well, no, but do you really want...
I don't think he's ever ended a match on a big swing.
No, he hasn't. But
he's used it to disorient his enemies before he lifts them like a freak and slams them into the dirt.
Right, but you don't want to downplay the 5-knuckle shuffle, and it's just a punch to the head.
Right. It was surprising. If they do it again, then I'll say it's a problem.
That's fair. I'll agree with that. The next contest was a surprise. We looked over a rundown of the card before
there were like 3 matches missing.
Yeah. This was Ryback and Curtis Axel versus Cody Rhodes and Goldust.
Again, perfectly solid match.
Yeah, it was okay. A good Raw match.
Good Raw match.
Yeah.
Nothing pay-per-view quality. But...
No, Goldust didn't even bust out the Hurricanranas or anything like he's been doing.
And it was, to be fair, not a surprising finish, but post-finish, not what I expected to happen. What I expected to happen post-finish was that Cody would do the heel turn they've been basically baiting for the last 2 pay-per-view cycles. But no.
Yeah, in case it wasn't clear, Cody and Goldust lost. It was Cody's fault.
Yeah, Cody's fault. He got
cocky. He kept trying for the same move and failing against the same guy.
And it failed for the same reason. You're trying to go at, in the air, a big, strong guy. So he strongs at you.
Commentary during this match was great, though.
Yeah.
Because they kept talking like Ryback was stupid. And JBL was cribbing lines from me. I pick guys up, I put them down. It was great.
Get off our material.
I love JBL, man.
Yeah. What is it you said during the show? At one point during the show, White looked at the TV and he said, JBL, I really shouldn't be watching this pay-per-view only for you.
Yeah. He was golden. Michael Cole and Jerry, they were good too. I'm not going to take anything away from them.
But JBL is just like... He obviously does not give 2 shits, so he just says whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And he's really funny.
But post-match, Cody gets a mic and he's like, you deserve a better tag team partner.
And he just drops and leaves. And that was surprising. I was expecting, Crossroads on Goldust to heel Cody Rhodes back. But no. No, they're going a different way. I'm interested, honestly.
I liked it because the look on Goldust's face was, well, yeah, but... Come on, man. We're bros.
I mean, that's fair, but we're brothers.
You do kind of suck.
You're having some rough times, but, I don't hold it against you.
So that's interesting. I guess I do care about what's going on there, and I'm glad the WWE tag team scene has been...
Yeah, it's been lively.
Lively, yeah. Weird that it's this lively and there hasn't been a tag team championship match on the last 2 pay-per-views.
The Usos have been busy being John Cena's backup dancers.
That concerns the hell out of me.
Look,
traditionally, if you're a tag team and you get stapled to John Cena, you do not live long.
The problem is they get subsumed into Cena's gimmick, and then they get the kiss of death, because the only people who attach themselves to John Cena are faces. Anyone who attaches themselves to John Cena gets boos, and only John Cena can handle that.
Yeah.
So, what is the concern is that the Usos are going to attach themselves to John Cena and get severe boos that kills their gimmick. And it started to happen tonight, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we are a little bit. Next match, that was Big E, no Langston, versus Rusev. This was my second favorite match of the night.
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't long.
No, it was short and it was really simple, but I liked it.
You liked the... Well, you just liked it because Mother Russia won.
Well, no, I mean, yes, but I think it would have been better if they had done a flag fight, as you had suggested.
Yeah, they came in like waving the flags back and forth to each other like, my flag is cool. No, my flag is cooler. I wanted them to get in the ring and then sword fight with them.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. In fact, I don't like Big E Langston. I'll come right out and say it. I don't like the guy. I think he's bland.
Physically, I think he's awesome.
Oh, physically he's very imposing, and I think he's talented. Oh, rusty. Not refined, I should say. But he has no personality. And his voice doesn't match his body, but not enough that it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, those are problems. They're fixable problems. All he needs is a decent gimmick or a mouthpiece, and he doesn't have either of those.
But yeah, they don't want to give him either of those. He had a decent mouthpiece, but they split him apart from her.
Yeah, and I've seen this on the internet, and I've said it for months. Look, his tights are black, red, and yellow. Dude, do the Nation of Domination.
Yeah.
It is time for a new Nation of Domination. Please, you could have Mark Henry taking Farouk's old spot. Big E could take Mark Henry's old spot. R-Truth could be the voice guy, because he can cut a promo.
Yeah.
And then Kofi Kingston could be their new D-Lo, the high-flying one. Maybe he won't cripple anybody. I think it's time, and I think that gimmick would be awesome. Have them, take the main event by storm. But, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
No, yeah. I guess I was kind of surprised by this, because we both thought that E was going over.
Well, came out wielding the American flag against, the great evil that is Russia. I didn't expect them to give the win to, the Sith Lords.
They'd been feeding Rusev like mid-carders, and especially African mid-carders.
Yeah, African-American mid-carders have been Rusev's snacks for the last pay-per-view cycle and a half.
To be fair, Kobe Johnston is just African.
Yeah, he's from Ghana.
But figured,
like the sentient Afro.
Yeah, Xavier, whatever his
Xavier
name is.
Woods.
Yeah.
And R-Truth and...
But, it's clearly, that seems like that's a clear build, but no. I like Rusev because he fights like a less talented, bigger Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
And, Joe's vicious, and Rusev is vicious, and I like his camel clutch, and I like the theatrics.
I just like that someone's using the camel clutch, to be honest.
I
think Lana is an amazing mouthpiece for that
character.
character.
Oh my god, I'm in love with her.
The smirking and the perfect poise.
Oh man, she's...
And Rusev
awesome.
Crush.
It's just great. It's a great gimmick, and I like seeing great gimmicks get ahead. And beside being, Godzilla versus King Kong, this was an interesting dynamic to sell Rusev more. And it's been a while since they built up a big monster like that.
Honestly, especially a big Russian. The last one was Kozlov.
Monster. Well, yeah, a big Russian. Last one was Kozlov. The last big monster they built was Ryback, but Ryback was a face.
He was a face monster, which is always kind of a weird gimmick to watch, and it did about as well as it usually does.
I blame Ryback's problems on Ryback.
Yeah.
He's got some attitude
Skip
issues.
acted like a douche.
Yeah.
So.
I still love the guy, though.
Yeah, he's funny. So, it's...
But,
It was a decent match.
Yeah.
There was this one really sweet spot. Big E delivered this bone-crunching spear through the ropes to Vladimir Putin's favorite son.
Oh, threaded the fucking needle, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't touch those ropes, fucking butter through there.
It was a flying football tackle, and it was just beautiful. It made a noise that you could hear from the stands where the mics are.
Well, it was hard hitting. You got two guys that weigh over 300 pounds, you're going to have that. I was more impressed that they fit a turkey through, one of those stretchy arm exercise things. And it just, smooth, nothing.
He does have some severe breast meat going on.
That dude is a Hewegg. Let's see, next match wasn't really a match, because Kofi Kingston came out and...
the story of the match, which they revealed after the match for some reason, was that Kofi Kingston has been tweeting that Stephanie McMahon's a bitch, essentially, all day. She's being a bitch and Daniel Bryan, blah, 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 blah. So suddenly he has a match against Bo Dallas, who, by the way, by God, he looks like his brother.
Yeah, when he first debuted, you were like, never put a beard on that man. The resemblance will not be able to be avoided. For those of you listening out there who aren't up on it, Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt, they be related.
They're both IRS's kids, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I remember when he first debuted as Husky Harris, when Bray Wyatt first debuted as Husky Harris, we were like, no, you are not doing the legacy of Erwin R. Shyster justice. You shitty wrestler.
Look, Bray Wyatt wasn't always good. He's good now.
Yes.
I love him
Well,
now.
shit, neither was Claudio Castagnoli. I was watching old Chikara tapes about a month ago, and he was not impressive.
Everybody starts in the same place.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you end up.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I hate this gimmick. I hate it.
The whole thing?
Bo, yeah. I'll make fun of it, like, any chance I get, but only because I hate it.
See, I think you're supposed to. That's the point.
Well,
No, not everyone. You specifically, and those like us, both you and I, are supposed to hate Bo Dallas. Because he's John Cena again, but smarmier.
Well, but he's supposed to be the heel.
Maybe.
He's supposed to be the heel.
Yeah.
Look, it's gonna be maybe 2 weeks before that other shoe drops and he cheats or something.
Oh, that'll be great. I'll love that. I can't lie. This gimmick, I love it. I do. I love every bit of it. I think it's hilarious, and I think the smarm, the pure snark in that delivery of Bo Leave with the little thumbs up. Oh, it's trolling at its finest, and it fills my heart with joy.
I hate it. And I don't hate it because he's being a smarmy douchebag. I hate it because it's working, I guess. I don't even think that's accurate. I don't want to see this, I think is what it is. You know what? I liked it when Spanky had this gimmick.
Yeah,
years
Spanky
ago.
was amazing with this gimmick.
Spanky went places with this gimmick. Bo Dallas he's already not going to go places with this gimmick. Not that I'm doubting him. I'm doubting how he's being written so far.
True. That's true.
Also, where was my buddy Adam Rose?
Well, if they had given him a match against Adam Rose, the thing would have gone differently, and they only had 1-for-1 NXT dude on the pay-per-view card. And that one was only there because Daniel Bryan's neck destroyed itself.
I could have used some Adam Rose. This is I'm down with this gimmick. I love it. I love the way he moves in the ring. I love his attitude. I love the way he talks.
I love it now that he's wrestling.
Yes, I agree. The build-up got a little tiresome. I was afraid they were going to Kazarni, the poor guy. But
oh, God. Poor Kazarni.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, no. Now
Sid Modine, if you're out there, if you're hanging out with Ultimo Dragon and listening to the podcast...
First off, hi.
I love you, man. And I think you got screwed. So...
Pretty severely.
Put that out there.
But, yeah, no, it's... Now that he's wrestling, I think it'll go well. But I think in 2 pay-per-views we'll see him have a match.
Yeah.
Maybe next pay-per-view.
Yeah, that was something the commentary did say. The guy shows up last week, he has 2 matches, and
now he's on the
pay-per-view. That's not how that works. Which it wasn't an actual match. Kane showed up, beat the fuck out of Kofi Kingston, and left.
And then Bo Dallas did some smarm at Kofi's corpse. and left also. And that was the end. It was done.
Yes.
It was what it was. It was a promo. It was time filler. They had to stretch. They didn't have the Shield and Evolution didn't have that much to fill. They needed something to fill a couple extra minutes because they were down a main event. So they sent this out to fill some time. That's it. It was what it was. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was potatoes. It was there.
Yeah. That bridges us into our next match. Which was Rob Van Dam versus Bad News Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep, that match happened.
Yeah.
Could not possibly tell you anything that happened, did it?
Well,
there was a Van Terminator.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of a wrinkle when Barrett tried to hit the elbow and he hit the turnbuckle.
That was the thing that also... Look, full disclosure, I don't remember shit about this match. this match, and I like Bad News Barrett, and I used to like Rob Van Dam a whole lot. This match was utterly fucking forgettable.
It seems like a contracted match, and I don't mean that to be mean or anything. I like RVD. I think he's got a pretty good attitude.
He has a good attitude. Dude needs to hit the gym a little more.
Well, he's just old, man. After a certain amount of time, you just get...
He's not as old as Triple H.
Yeah, but Triple H doesn't go like Rob Van Dam and never did.
That's true. Triple H has always been slower, more paced in the ring.
Well, even when he was fast, he wasn't backflipping off of anything.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I can't, look, I couldn't pull a single backflip. Rob Van Dam does 5, gets winded, and then I give him shit about it.
Well, you know, I'm glad he's there. I'm even more glad they didn't give him the strap.
Oh, me too. So glad.
I love RVD, but he can't. Not now. Let Barrett have it. He deserves it. He's going places with this gimmick.
And he's over.
Oh, yeah.
So over. So weirdly over.
I think if he was able to do his finisher, his old finisher a little better, the Wasteland...
That thing still looks like shit.
There's not enough impact to it. I don't know if it's the people selling it, or if it's the way he does it, because that move could look cool, like if they bounced a little or something.
If they bounce a little, or if the person taking it, arch their back and look painful.
But he flops them over and they're dead. They lay there dead.
Like a sack of potatoes.
Which is incredibly realistic.
Yeah, but it's not wrestling.
Yeah, we're used to bouncing.
Look, Shawn Michaels getting hit with one of Hulk Hogan's punches and doing 3 backflips and rolling outside the ropes isn't realistic, but by God, it's funny.
But this match was okay. I think they both put on a really good effort, and they both worked with each other pretty well. There weren't really any botches.
Which is what would have held my attention more than anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't I keep saying this, and I feel like a broken record, but it wasn't a bad match. It was a good Raw match. It wasn't a pay-per-view match. It was a good match. But
I think this was around when Daniel Bryan came out, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it happened either before or after. I think it was after the Intercontinental title match.
Yeah.
Because then they bridged right into the John Cena Bray Wyatt thing.
Yes.
So Daniel Bryan comes out with Miss Bella, or is her last name technically Bryan now? Or who knows?
I honestly don't know.
It's probably Danielson if you want to get technical. But they come out. Stephanie McMahon is so deliciously smug. And, I mean, no offense, but anyone should have been able to call this one. This was paint by numbers. Exactly what you thought was going to happen, happened. Brie Bella didn't get fired. She quit before she could get fired because that's what you do in that situation. And I'll let you describe what happens next because I've been talking for a while.
She slapped Steph pretty hard.
And Steph didn't slap her back, and that was a fucking travesty.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about this segment. One, Steph has looked really, really hot since she came back. I didn't like her outfit today.
It was very staid. It was very black.
I like the color. Someone's got to rep teal on a wrestling pay-per-view.
Teal! Woo!
That's just how that goes. But, yeah. Call me weak. I've always thought Stephanie McMahon is a very attractive individual. And I like that. I like being able to enjoy it. This week, I just wasn't too fond of the ensemble. But no, seriously, the actual segment. I liked it in that they really sold that Brie took the reins, stepped up, and did a cool thing for her husband. It was like, you know what, screw you, I quit, smack the shit out of Steph.
I like the line, I will not be a powerless victim, you don't control me.
Yeah,
I like that line.
That was nice. I liked it a lot, and it was kind of like a full circle thing, because back when he was doing the gimmick with AJ,
when he was a heel.
Yeah, he was the controlly asshole boyfriend. Now he's letting his woman step up for him. So it kind of brings that aspect of his gimmick, his personality, full circle. Not that the WWE really cares about that now. The fairy dust has settled. We forgot he was ever a heel in the first place. But as that long-term viewer that I am, I liked it. I felt it really tied that off and made that arc of his personality complete. I didn't like the fact that Steph didn't fight back. And not because I wanted a Joey Styles cat fight, just because she's the balls.
She's Stephanie McMahon. Look, cat fight desire or no cat fight desire, full disclosure, I wanted a Joey Styles style cat fight. That way,
I wasn't going to say no to it, but...
That way, partially, so that when we did the podcast, I could do the line. I can't do the line now, and that makes me sad. But... she's Stephanie McMahon. I've seen her throw down with dudes 3 times her size because they called her a, was it, bottom-feeding trash bag hoe?
There were other pejoratives on there
Dirty,
as well. But...
skanky, nasty.
But yeah, she's Steph, and now she's in power, and they've done this great job of selling Stephanie McMahon, not Triple H, Stephanie McMahon as the person in charge of Raw. There weren't a lot of questions about it. In fact, more often than not, taking a cheap shot at Triple H, but more often than not, the wrestlers even recognized.
Hey, you gonna keep hiding behind your lady's skirt there?
Yeah, she's the power in this power couple. And to have her, boo-hoo and run away backstage after getting slapped once, nobody slaps like Stephanie McMahon.
What Stephanie McMahon does there is Stephanie McMahon slaps back harder.
Now, I get that they wanted to... that weird noise, by the way, if you hear that, that's a train. Your computer's not doing anything crazy. The train is. But I get that they wanted to sell Brie. They wanted to give her, and by extension, Daniel Bryan, the nod.
What you do there, and still sell Brie, is you have Brie slap Stephanie, have Stephanie slap her back harder, and then have Brie lay her out. Because she quit now. Stephanie's not her boss. Just have her give her like a clothesline
or have Steph do the cowardly thing and call security on her.
Yeah. Do something that has Steph fight back and still sells Brie. Hell, have Brie lay Steph out, and I guarantee you Brie Bella starts getting stone cold heat, and that would be awesome. Everyone likes to see the boss get taken down a peg.
Sure, yeah, and I get it. Steph has never been the Vince McMahon who pees himself when appropriately threatened, or who, after a certain age, once stone cold stunned or F5'd, becomes dead.
And then rises, Jesus-like, from the ashes of his own demise sometime later. But she was always more Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon was always, he was in power, he was kind of the boss's son, he was the heir apparent for a long time. And on television, his gimmick was that he was also kind of, a chip on his shoulder. He would throw down for some shit. Steph was always closer to that.
See, I think she's option C here. I mean, Vince is the balls, but he's beatable. Ultimately, he's mostly ego and sound and fury.
Till he got all jacked and huge.
Yeah. Well, even then, he usually got beat because of his ego. Shane he had the chip on his shoulder, he had the attitude, and he would fight. Whether he was face or heel, he would fight hard. He would put his body on the line.
How well he did, depending on whether he was face or heel.
Ultimately, he's a weenie. He's a butt monkey. He's Xander.
Yeah, he's very Xander.
Whereas Steph is in charge, and always has been after she stopped being a victim, in terms of storyline, after she and Triple H got together, once she assumed a role of power, she has been in that role of power.
Basically, once she started teasing her hair.
And steadily accumulating power. And now she's got,
all the power.
Yeah, all the power in her thighs.
She does not miss leg day.
No. No. She doesn't miss any day.
She is married to Triple H.
Yeah.
Who I'm pretty sure has a timeshare at a gym.
Man, I wish I had that kind of dedication to stay that fit.
I don't.
No, me either.
I've worked out on and off, on again and off again, but I just don't. I'm not that guy.
I couldn't get that crushed, man. Just period. I could not get that juicy of a rip on.
Stop talking. Please stop saying those words. You sound so...
No agony, no braggany.
Oh my god.
I think this is a perfect time to move on to John Cena and Bray Wyatt.
Alright. I'm gonna open with this. That match, the match, was fucking awesome.
Yeah, this was my favorite match of the card.
And my favorite match of their three. This was a really, really good match, a really, really good pay-per-view match, and a really, really good last man standing match.
You know, I have to agree. Much like Star Wars original trilogy, it goes 3-1-2.
I am not gonna jump in that fight today. I will talk no further on it. Empire was the best movie, you shut your whore mouth.
But yeah, no, this was... There are points where I wish they had made callbacks. I blame the announcers entirely. I blame Jerry the King Lawler. I blame Michael Cole. I don't blame JBL for anything.
JBL, he could have made a call. He didn't want to. He didn't care.
JBL made this is a John Cena match call.
John Cena has a way of winning big matches, which means, settle in, folks, John Cena's always, in the end, going to win.
Which we figured he would. I mean, if you were here for our Extreme Rules commentary, we both said, you know what, after this, John Cena's going to get the rub and the gimmick's going to be over.
Because that's the way John Cena gimmicks work. Once they start, unless you're The Rock, they don't end until Cena wins. And actually, even if you are the fucking Rock, the gimmick doesn't end until Cena goes over. It's not pretty, it's not what I would prefer, but it is reality.
My issue, knowing John Cena was going to win, going into this match, they ignored, the first match at WrestleMania, where John Cena was supposed to use the chair to his anger.
They didn't ignore it.
Well, no, that's the thing. But they kind of mentioned it, and
it was really hilarious because the whole thing with the WrestleMania match was like, use the chair, John. Give in to the dark side, and John wouldn't, and he didn't use the chair on Bray Wyatt, and then this match comes around, and he's just wailing on Bray Wyatt. He throws it, he hits him with chairs, he chucks an entire fucking stairs at the man, and Michael Cole goes, now remember, kids, this is different. It's not the same now, because now it's in the rules, so that means trying to cripple him is okay. And then they move on. Just have to reassure everyone, John Cena is still a face. He is still a face. This does not mean that he's given into the dark side. No. He still hustle loyalty respects.
Well, here's the thing for me. John was acting. He was doing the whole, I want to hit him with this chair so bad, but I know I shouldn't. I gotta stay true to hustle, loyalty, respect.
I ain't fucking hit him with a chair.
No, I'm gonna hit him with a chair. I'm gonna hit him with a chair.
I'm gonna hit him with a chair. I'm gonna throw a stairs at him. But seriously, the stair throwing thing was really badass.
It was pretty tight. He had that look on his face. He was struggling with himself. And the announcers...
let it pass.
Yeah, they didn't comment on it. John Cena didn't grow from this match. John Cena had the opportunity to grow from this match. I'm not saying he needed to do a little heel turn. I'm not saying he needed to let Bray win. But
although, I would not have said no to that.
Well, yeah, sure. There were the two major problems with this match. The two major problems with the finish of this match.
Because it was just the finish.
Yeah, I mean, the match itself was pretty good. I mean, really good.
A match.
Yeah, definitely.
Match.
Definitely the match of the night. You can't really dispute that. But the two major problems with the ending to the match is, A, it's predictable.
I've been calling this one since Extreme Rules.
Well, yeah, since before then.
Since Bray managed to pull the win in Extreme Rules, I have said they're guaranteed Cena's winning the next match.
Yeah, that cemented it. But even before then, we were saying, okay, look, this is the way it's going to go. He wins the WrestleMania match. Once he won the WrestleMania match, we said they're going to do it again in Extreme Rules. And Bray should
Wyatt
go over.
Had better win, and he did.
And he did. And then at the next pay-per-view, John Cena will get the rub.
It's just...
It's standard
booking.
It's easy booking.
Heel or face, heel, face.
Yeah.
You start off with Act 1, where everything's good. Act 2 comes, it's the low point. Oh man, the hero's looking tough. Is he gonna win? Act 3, and he wins.
But beyond being classic booking, it's John Cena booking.
John Cena booking is classic booking.
Yeah, but it's never not classic book. With like 2 notable exceptions. It's never not classic booking.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
There are plenty of times when the face doesn't win. Goldust Cody Rhodes is a perfect example. Rybaxel is a heel tag team. Not super heel, they're not very over, but they are the bad guys here. Cody Rhodes and Goldust are the good guys. And they lost the big match. And it offers an opportunity to grow.
There's no, but Cena doesn't grow. He's done. There's nowhere for him to go. He can't grow.
Here's where I disagree. And I didn't think this was possible until tonight when they started playing with it. I hearken you back to The Dark Knight.
All right. I'll take this journey with you. Where are you going?
Bray Wyatt, in their WrestleMania match, wanted John Cena to use the chair, wanted him to give in to his anger, wanted him to break his rule. And he used the chair, but not on Wyatt. He unleashed his anger, but not where Wyatt wanted him to. So Bray keeps picking because he knows he can get to him. Second match, goofy-ass ending.
Hilariously
delightfully, awesome. But, still... Bray asserts and shows us that he has power. That he has sway over the people. And we continue to see that tonight. If these building blocks weren't still there, I wouldn't have even thought of this. But Cena still obviously showed struggle with using the weapons on Bray. With unleashing. He had the Usos come in to help him out while...
Harper and Rowan.
Yeah, Harper and Rowan were helping out Bray Wyatt. He gave as good as he got in terms of physicality. But once Wyatt went and got the chair, Cena struggled with using it. And when he did use it, he used it out of hate. The Joker won.
It would have been better if they ticked on that, but that would have been a shift in Cena's gimmick.
I think it's more that Cena would have places to grow from there. Not into something different, because they don't want a different Cena. They want that face guy who sells the tickets. He doesn't need to be different. He needs to be stronger. Because then, what does Cena do from here? The next time we see him, he comes out, he does his jolly-ass promo, and then backstage, he's kind of standoffish to somebody. Not mean, not rude, just curt. And John Cena's not curt. Have the announcers play that up. And then over the next few weeks, we notice John Cena being more and more upset. And then we finally catch him talking to somebody he cares about. Maybe he's on the phone, whatever. And he's like, it's really getting to me. I mean, I know this thing with Wyatt is done and over with, but I beat the crap out of him with that chair. I beat the crap out of him with the steel steps. I've done it before. Why is it bothering me here? And, John can come to terms with that in some way. And we can have that cementing, Why did John Cena do it? Because he needed to win the match. Because he needed to prove Bray Wyatt wrong. And if Bray has to have a small victory in, forcing John to descend to that level of violence so that John Cena and the C-Nation can have the larger victory, then so be it. Sometimes you have to give a little in order to win big.
That's a great idea.
But they didn't even.
No.
They didn't even.
No, they didn't even. And they're not gonna.
No, I know. It's just like, you're wasting opportunity. You don't even have to go super deep about it. I went a little deeper than they would have ended up scripting, I'm sure, but, wrestling can be very subtle sometimes, and they didn't even really touch on the subtleties. In fact, they swept it under the rug. My number 1 point was that it was predictable. My number 2 point was that it was... he cheated.
Yeah, it was a heel win.
Which, as Boy has reminded me several times, that's what John Cena does in a last man standing match.
That's what he's done in the last 3. in Last Man Standing match, he cheats. And they play it off like, oh, that canny Cena, he's canny. Certainly not a heel, ladies and gentlemen. But he's, like, he duct taped Batista's feet to the ring, he can't put people down for 10. He literally did the attitude adjustment into a giant crate and put Bray Wyatt into the crate, and that was bad, and oh no, Bray Wyatt is hurt. And then he literally tipped another crate, a gigantic fuck-off crate that said upstaging on it, on top of Bray Wyatt, and stood on it to make sure he didn't get up.
Here's where this bothers me. This bothers me for two reasons. One, what I just said. John Cena has once again lowered himself to cheating to overcome the odds, and nobody mentions it.
Not going to mention it.
They're not going to make any character growth out of it.
They will at best say, oh, that canny Cena, he has a way of winning.
John Cena has the potential to be an interesting character. Superman can be an interesting character, but he has to have struggles that he overcomes. He doesn't have to compromise his morals entirely. He doesn't have to shed his moral code and become a bad guy. Batman, when written correctly, is a good guy with good morals. Harsh, but good.
Superman's struggles can come from not knowing when to stop. What's appropriate force. That can be a good struggle for John Cena. That's the struggle that they used in WrestleMania. John Cena struggled with how much force could he really justify using against Bray Wyatt. And in the end, he ended up having to do what Bray wanted him to do to put Bray down, and no one's going to mention it. And you're right, that's a lost opportunity.
Well, because here's the other two things, alright? It's not the other two things, excuse me. What was it? 2 other matches, Last Man Standing matches he was in where he had to do this shit?
Pretty much.
Batista and Umaga.
Yeah.
Okay? Umaga was a wrecking ball.
Mm-hmm.
Of course John Cena has to,
use wit and guile.
Yeah, use wit and guile to win. Batista is a beast. Well, not now, but he was.
Yeah, he was
was
jacked. He was huge.
Of course, John Cena has to outsmart him. Bray Wyatt is not a monster.
But that's the thing. He may not look like a monster, but that's how they're selling him. They're building him as a monster. He's the Undertaker.
Right.
He might not, Undertaker was physically imposing, but he might not be the most physically imposing guy, but he has power. So he has to cheat because he's trying to take out something that is beyond the conflict they're in.
Right, but here's where I'm coming from. Okay, when Superman beats Doomsday, he has to outsmart him.
That's Umaga. That's Umaga.
When Superman beats
Apocalypse, or not Apocalypse?
No,
that's the
DC
planet. Darkseid.
Yeah, and Darkseid's pretty smart though.
Yeah, but he's also much stronger and faster.
When Superman has to beat Bizarro Superman,
yeah,
he outsmarts him.
That's very much Batista, Bizarro Superman.
Sure. When Superman beats Lex Luthor, it's because he's Superman.
And Lex Luthor is, badass or not, just a guy.
He out-hearts him, he outstrongs him, but he doesn't need to outsmart him. And in the comic books, I'm sure there's been plenty of times where Supes has outsmarted Lex.
Because the comic books have been going on for longer than both of us have been alive, combined, and then some.
Right. But, ordinarily it's hubris that is Lex's downfall. Or Superman being Supes next to a human dude.
Or Superman being way more Supes than Lex thought he was.
I would have rather seen some stupid, contrived ending where the Hulkamania power shot through Cena and let him prevail than Cena beating Wyatt at his own game. I don't think it hurt Bray that much.
I don't think it hurt Bray at all.
Right. I'm going to say that much because I'm being conservative, but you're probably not wrong. He's probably going to walk away from this just fine. The guy's got enough of a following that it's not going to dust up his image.
So long as they let it die. So long as his next 3 opponents don't go, Cena beat you.
And Cena outsmarted you. Cena beat you is nothing. Cena can beat Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt didn't get any kind of victory here. Where do you go from here? Now Bray Wyatt, now the whole Wyatt family just has to go find some other asshole to bother. It's not like, okay, we've gotten this small victory. Let's kind of move around and see where else we can build up power, see what we can learn, and then come back and try to get Cena again, or whatever.
No, this was very final. Cena wins.
Yeah, and it was like, you just crushed so much potential for the Wyatt family to move away from here, for Cena to move away from here. It's just like closing a book before you read the last chapter.
Yeah.
Or the epilogue, perhaps more accurately.
I'm just happy it was a good match. I was not expecting it to be a good match. I was expecting it to be kind of a shitty match. Because their last match was honestly kind of shitty. But
yeah, it was, I mean, it was goofy.
The WrestleMania match was good.
The WrestleMania match was pretty good, yeah. But, all that nitpicking aside, like I said, it wasn't my favorite match of the pay-per-view. It wasn't the ending I wanted, but it was probably the ending I deserved.
Moving on.
We had Paige versus Black AJ Lee. And
look, I've been long and loud about my dislike of Alicia Fox, chiefly because she's dangerous.
Yeah.
She's not a good wrestler. She's going to get someone hurt.
She's getting a lot better, but I don't know why they didn't let her go when she nearly decapitated, Victoria ages ago?
Or the time she nearly decapitated Layla, or the time she nearly...
Yeah.
Her old finisher was a fucking danger to herself and others.
And she wasn't good at doing it. But, I don't know why...
Goldust is better at doing it.
I don't know why they... Yeah, he did do that in this... I suppose that was one big spot he pulled out. He didn't do the Hurricanrana, but that was pretty tight. I don't know why she's still around. I don't really care for her new gimmick. I don't like the way she's doing it. I think I'd like it if someone else was doing it, but the specific words she chooses to use, the specific action she chooses to take, it doesn't read like an emotional outburst. It doesn't read like a mental breakdown. It reads like random shit. Like something a 12-year-old would think of as somebody having a mental breakdown.
Oh yeah, then she dumps soda on herself, and she steals the king's hat, and she screams random words, and she holds up a spork. Although it would be impressive if she managed to lift you.
I am quite heavy. I just, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt here.
I don't.
Well, and thus you have pinpointed the dynamic of our relationship.
I do that a lot.
I'd love to give her the benefit of the doubt here, but she's not taking advantage of it. I didn't like this match because Paige got so little offense in. I would rather have seen a squash match than I came back from a squash match with one move match.
It's called a John Cena match.
Yeah. It's just not... It's not believable. It's not fun.
It was not a good match.
No. I mean, Alicia Fox was okay. Most of her moves were on point. There were a couple that were a little
slightly
odd.
Concerning.
Nothing really dangerous.
There was one backbreaker she severely fucked up. It didn't end up going badly, but she severely fucked up one of them.
Well, and everything Paige did looked really good. Now, she kind of dashed one move. At the very beginning, I don't even remember what it was, but it wasn't... Michael Cole saved it with commentary. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But, it was what it was. Paige retained on her submission move. And
the
then
modified Scorpion Crosslock. She has a new dub name for it, but I like the modified Scorpion Crosslock, so I'm going to keep saying that.
And then...
Then we have our main event.
yeah, there's the main event. This was
a good match. This was better than a Raw match. This was a pay-per-view match. The problem is, last pay-per-view, they did this match, but better.
Yeah. The slow build-up was really unnecessary here. Instead of them fucking around outside the ring before the match actually started being exciting, it was tedious.
Alright. So that's, can we get the show on the road here?
And they hit pretty much all the same notes.
The one note they hit that was... they hit a few new notes. One, the Shield won this one much more decisively.
Oh, yeah.
In the end. But they also hit another note where in the middle of the match was pretty much all Evolution completely decimating the Shield. And then the Shield activated their John Cena Kryptonian card and won anyway.
No, I think it worked because Seth Rollins pulled that trick he does where he disappears and then reappears out of the sky.
Like 3 times. I'm not saying it was unbelievable. I'm saying they were faces.
Oh, yeah.
They were very much the faces here. And there was like this weird... There's a very small section of our audience, our admittedly very small audience, that will get this joke. There was a very Chester Wynn nightmare moment. It was this weird torture scene they did with Roman Reigns in the middle of the thing, where like all 3 members of Evolution were caning him.
Oh yeah, it was brutal.
It was cool.
Yeah, he had some nasty, like big
They
bruisey welts.
they were fucking caning him, dude.
It was brutal, and you know, if
brutal, and it was vicious, and it was bombastic, and it was boring.
Here's the problem. I think it's the people involved, or the gimmicks involved, that's the problem. When Triple H is in Evolution, he stops being the cerebral assassin, and he starts being the quarterback.
Yeah, he becomes the quarterback. He becomes the leader.
Now, the cerebral assassin could have pulled this off. When Randy Orton's in Evolution, he stops being the Viper, and he becomes the Chucklehead.
I don't know about Chucklehead. He becomes
Starscream. Yeah, well, not even that.
Competent, good at what he does, but trust me, I curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal is coming.
And it had before. If they go further with Evolution at this point.
I really hope they don't.
While I appreciate the dramatic evolution of Bootista to Bluetista, I think his gimmick has run its course.
Look, stop, Dave. Go hype the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Go be Drax the Destroyer for a while.
I love when he came out and just looked absolutely lost.
He didn't know where he was. He didn't really know who he was.
What was the joke I made? Because he had these long blue sleeves on. It was,
someone stole the rest of my shirt.
Someone stole the middle of my shirt.
He had this haunted look.
Yeah, he just looked haunted. Like it had just happened backstage. All he was left with was his sleeves.
But it was a good match. It really was.
It was fine. But, we've been seeing this week in, week out since Extreme Rules. Since before Extreme Rules. It's been the same match. It's been the same, regardless of who won. It was one team comes out, destroys the other, holds up their arms or does the triple fist thing.
Increasingly does the triple fist thing for both people.
How often can you watch that? That's not how you book a feud. It just isn't. And when you take, as I was saying a minute ago, Batista notwithstanding, the Cerebral Assassin and the Viper could have done this. This little high school clique, no. I don't believe you guys as villains. I believe you as the villains in the Mighty Ducks.
I believe you as the villains in a John Hughes movie.
Yeah.
But you're not...
You're not Vader. You're
not Triple H.
Yeah.
There was one Triple H moment in the match when the Shield had done their each one of us eliminates one member of Evolution because we're badasses maneuver. And it was down to just just the King of Kings, and he was standing against all comers with his mighty hammer. And honestly, I would like to see him eliminate 2 of them, and then the 3rd one takes the win. Because that moment where he was just standing like, no, I can take you. That was Triple H.
But at the same time, I recognize it from a storyline perspective. We don't need a Triple H right now.
We need Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. We need The Shield, and Triple H, in his infinite wisdom as a talent director, gave us that.
With Triple H being what amounts to the owner of the company, they've been losing investments, for obvious reasons. I like Daniel Bryan. He's a nice wrestler guy. I have nothing against him as a person. I'm glad he got some success. It's good to see a small kid from the indies who's technically sound as your WWE champion. They should have replaced him a month ago.
I still think they're holding out for a hero here. They're stalling for something.
You fucked up.
They're stalling for something.
I would have rather seen a big dramatic return with an interim champion. I would have rather had Kane have the title for this time, while Daniel Bryan went out and got his neck surgery.
You're not wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Look, this was a pay-per-view without a main title match. That's stupid.
You're not wrong. This isn't good. They're stalling for something. I don't know what.
Well, I mean, okay, and they're probably in panic mode. Because this isn't what they had planned on doing anyway.
No, I assumed this was going to be Kane, Daniel Bryan 2.
Yeah, fuck, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be CM Punk versus Triple H.
But,
things happened twice now.
Yeah.
So, they're floundering. I mean, it's like, who is going to take the place? Who is the main event talent here? Do we really want to see Randy Orton again? Fuck no.
Look, don't give me any member of Evolution in the main event. For God's sakes, don't strap it to Cena.
And, okay, this carries me back to what I said in the fucking beginning. You put Cesaro over this hard. Push him the rest of the way. You've got a big, gaping damn hole.
See, the problem is if you push him the rest of the way, you run the risk of Sheamusing the poor bastard.
I'd rather see that, because Sheamus still has a fucking career. I'd rather see that than nothing. I know it's a funny thing to say, especially when you're a huge smart. This is so shit, I'd rather they didn't have a title match at all. No, this is fucking bad. It was like a pall over the whole night. Look, it wasn't as bad as the second half of WrestleMania, after The Undertaker's streak was defeated by my client Brock Lesnar. But
that killed the rest of that show.
It was still a pall over the whole show. From top to bottom, you swallowed and went, this is not gonna have a title match.
This is it? Which I think probably contributed a good bit to the lack of a pay-per-view feel here.
There was nothing to hype.
There were 2 pay-per-view quality matches on here, one of which I would say is probably one of the best last man standing matches I've seen in a long time.
Oh, in a long time, sure.
They're usually real bloated and shitty.
Yeah, I've seen better.
But
it hasn't been since like the 90s.
Yeah, they're usually bloated and shitty, and they hit like 1 million of their finishers each. We saw 2 attitude adjustments and 2 walrus busters, I think.
That being
Sister Abigail. Sorry, that's our personal nickname for that move.
That has nothing to do with Paul Heyman.
Although, that would be fun.
But it was just like, there's nothing to hype. I mean, they may as well have called this pay-per-view Inevitable Conclusions.
Oh. Look, there's no better button I can put on it than that. That's about the long and short of it.
Before we do sign off for the night, I'm pleased to see that we filled out an hour. We were a little worried we weren't going to, but being pedantic saved the day.
It always does. It always does. Pedantism is both the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
We have finally come down to a decision. We're going to be sticking with 1 show a week for a while. I want to dedicate a lot of time to some other projects I got going on. I want to get some other kinds of videos out to you guys. and I'm sure you'll like a lot of what I come up with.
You do have to, see his face in the rest of them, but
It's some other project I've got is going to take a while, but I think the payoff is going to be really great. I am also working on refining the Two Nerds forum. Any of you out there who have the link already and want to go poke around, by all means, check it out. It's not done yet, but it's serviceable. There's a general chat. What more can you ask for? Yeah, I think that's going to be it. This was a pretty mediocre build-up to a pretty mediocre pay-per-view, but I've seen worse.
And hey, it's a little better now. Everything is better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!